The stars were silent that night. The United Earth Fleet ship Orion's Hope floated near the edge of Andromeda, its crew staring at a massive structure that blocked their scanners. It was a gate, larger than a moon, built of black metal that swallowed light. No one knew who made it, or why it was here. Captain Elena Ward stood on the command deck, her eyes fixed on the endless dark circle. "No power source, no signals, nothing," said her science officer, Dr. Ishan Rao. "It's been dead for centuries." But the captain felt something different, something cold, something alive. "Launch the drones," she ordered. The small machines flew out into the void, lights blinking as they moved closer to the structure. The moment one touched the surface, every screen on the ship flashed white. A deep sound filled the air, like metal breathing after a long sleep. Everyone froze. "Did you hear that?" whispered Ishan. The ship's sensors came back online, but now they showed something new, a heartbeat, slow, deep, coming from inside the gate. Captain Ward's voice was low. "That's impossible." For hours they watched, but the pulse never stopped. It was as if something was trapped inside, waiting. The crew debated. Some wanted to leave, others wanted to open it. Curiosity battled fear. Then the radio came alive. A signal was coming from the gate. It was faint, almost broken. The communication officer turned up the volume, and a voice, human, ancient, trembling, spoke in old Earth language. "You came back too early." Everyone on the bridge went still. "That's English," said Ishan. "Old English." "Impossible," said Ward. "No one's been this far before." No probe, no mission. The signal repeated again and again, then changed. The next words were a warning. "Do not wake what we sealed," the captain's heart pounded. "Wake what?" The ship's AI displayed data. The structure was older than the galaxy itself, made from materials unknown to human science. Around it floated fragments of broken metal, like remains of ships that once tried to enter. Lieutenant Kara, the youngest officer, whispered, "Maybe someone tried before us." Ward turned to her and failed. No one spoke for a while. Only the heartbeat echoed through the metal. At 0300 hours, the Orion's Hope received another reading, a second heartbeat. Faster this time. The gate was responding to their presence. "Shut down all power," ordered Ward. "No signals, no scans." But it was too late. The drones they had sent earlier began to move on their own. Their cameras showed them floating into the center of the gate. Then they vanished. No explosion, no sound, just gone. A low vibration shook the ship. The gate started to spin slowly, dust and light circling it like a storm. A small beam of light pointed toward Earth's coordinates across galaxies. "It's scanning us," said Ishan. Ward gripped the rail. "Or calling us." Suddenly the crew felt something heavy in their minds, a whisper, not from speakers, but from inside their heads. It said only one thing: "You were not supposed to return." Crew members screamed. Lights flickered. Systems failed. The ship drifted powerless in the cold dark. The heartbeat now matched the rhythm of human hearts on board, as if syncing with them. When power returned, they saw something horrifying. The gate was no longer closed. A crack had appeared across its surface, glowing red like a wound. Ward stared at it and whispered, "It's opening." Inside that red line, faint outlines moved, shapes, human shapes. Kara looked closer at the screen. "Those are people inside the metal?" Dr. Ishan shook his head. "No, they're not people. They're echoes, memories, something stored." The captain stepped back. "End transmission. We're leaving." But when she gave the command to fire engines, the ship refused to move. Every thruster was locked by an unknown code. The system displayed a single message: access denied, humanity restricted. The gate pulsed again, and the stars around it dimmed. The crew could see reflections in the viewport, faces that were not theirs. Old faces wearing ancient Earth uniforms. It was as if time itself was remembering. Kara whispered, "Captain, I think this gate knows us." Ward turned slowly. "It shouldn't. We just found it today." The heartbeat grew louder, now shaking the decks. In the final moments before blackout, a new signal arrived, stronger than before. It said, "If you can hear this, you must forget what you saw." We locked it for a reason, then everything went dark. When the lights returned, the Orion's hope was gone from all human records. The next fleet that arrived months later found only silent debris, and one message carved into the drifting metal panels. They locked the gate centuries ago, but humanity never needed keys. The silence around the gate lasted for weeks. Then far away on Earth, deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, an old monitoring station received a strange signal. At first it looked like background noise, but when the technicians decoded it, the message froze their blood. It was the same voice that the lost ship Orion's Hope had recorded. And it spoke again, this time, clear and direct. "You came back too early." Inside the station, alarms flashed red. The signal was using ancient Earth frequency bands, ones abandoned more than 500 years ago. Nobody knew how or why it was even possible. Commander Elias Trent, head of Earth's Deep Space Network, stared at the data. "This transmission isn't coming from Andromeda," he said. "It's coming from inside our solar system." The room went quiet. "How?" asked his assistant, Lieutenant Sarah Miles. "The last known coordinates of Orion's Hope were millions of light-years away." Elias zoomed in on the origin point. "The signal came from near Saturn's outer moon, Titan." "That's impossible," Sarah whispered. The message played again, but this time it was longer. "We warned you once. Do not wake what we sealed. The key is within your kind. Stop searching." Every word carried a strange echo, as if spoken by many voices at once. The scientists worked for days trying to trace it. The signal would appear, vanish, and reappear, always using Earth's oldest communication codes, ones only humans could understand. Someone or something was speaking only to them. Meanwhile, on Titan's surface, a small mining base called Argus Outpost was reporting strange readings. Machines were malfunctioning, compasses spinning wildly, and their deep drills had struck metal that hummed like it was alive. Chief Engineer Rhea Collins sent a message to Earth. "We've found something under the ice," she said. "It's huge, not natural. And it's transmitting the same frequency as your alert signal." Elias ordered a full lockdown. "No one goes near it," he said. "Not until we know what it is." But curiosity always wins against fear. Rhea and her team lowered cameras into the hole. The footage showed a black metallic wall, curved, smooth, and ancient. As the light from the camera hit it, symbols began to glow. Earth symbols, words in human languages. Latin, English, Russian, Chinese. All carved into the same surface. "How can this be here?" one miner asked. "Titan was never colonized before us." Rhea zoomed in on one line of text. It said, "Do not open. Humanity is the trigger." Suddenly the ground shook. Ice cracked. The hum grew louder, turning into a rhythmic thump, like a heartbeat. Rhea stepped back from the console. "That sound, it's the same as the Andromeda recordings." The power failed. The entire base went dark. Only the heartbeat continued. Then a light flickered from beneath the ice, growing brighter and brighter until the whole cavern glowed white. When the light faded, the hole was gone, sealed, smooth, like nothing had ever been there. But the base's computers had changed. Every screen now displayed the same message in blood-red text. "The gate is everywhere." Rhea's voice trembled over the comm. "Elias, I think there's more than one." On Earth, scientists began to panic. The same signal that had appeared on Titan started echoing from every major human colony, Mars, Luna, Europa, even the orbital stations. Each message was identical. "You woke it. You carry the key. The government's ordered silence." No one was allowed to speak about the gate, but secrets never stay hidden for long. The message leaked to the public, spreading across networks like fire. People everywhere began to ask the same question. What did humanity ever lock away? In the secure room beneath the United Earth Defense Command, Commander Elias met with Admiral Selene Ward, the sister of the lost captain from Orion's Hope. She looked older now, tired but determined. "You said you found a signal?" she asked. Elias nodded. It's her voice, Admiral. Captain Ward's, but she's been gone for months. That's not possible, Selene said softly. Elias played the recording. The voice was calm, distant, and chillingly familiar. We opened the first gate. We saw what was inside. Don't make the same mistake. Humanity's past is not what you believe. Selene's eyes filled with fear. That's her. But how? Elias looked at her. Maybe the gate didn't destroy them. Maybe it copied them. The Admiral stood silent. Outside the window, the lights of Earth flickered as satellites began receiving more signals, coordinates, warnings, and old star maps no one had seen before. All of them pointed to one location, the same location Captain Ward's ship had vanished near, the edge of Andromeda. Selene turned toward the stars. Then that's where we go, she said. If humanity locked something away, we must know why. Elias looked uneasy. What if opening it again destroys us? Selene's reply was quiet but strong. Then we'll find out what kind of gods our ancestors were. Far beyond the solar system, the forgotten gate pulsed once more. Inside its red glow, shadows moved, tall human-shaped figures watching silently. And from deep within its core, a whisper traveled across space. You can lock the gates, but you can't lock memory. The journey to Andromeda began under silence. Admiral Selene Ward stood on the bridge of the Erebus, Earth's most powerful exploration ship. Her face was calm, but her heart carried a storm. The coordinates sent by the strange messages all led here, to the same place where her sister's ship, Orion's Hope, had vanished months ago. Around her, the crew whispered quietly. Every person had seen the same broadcasts, the warnings, the ancient messages, the impossible voice from the past. But none of them could believe what the scientists had confirmed last night. The gate near Andromeda was not alien. It was human-made. Selene replayed the old transmissions again and again. Her sister's voice echoed through the speakers. We opened the first gate. We saw what was inside. Humanity's past is not what you believe. Those words haunted her. How could humanity have built something like that, said Dr. Rao, the ship's historian, when we barely left Earth 1,000 years ago? Selene answered without turning. Maybe we were not the first. Days passed. The Erebus entered the dark edge of the Andromeda rim. No stars, no signals, only the endless black. Then suddenly the scanners detected it. A vast circle of black metal, floating and silent. The forgotten gate. The crew stared at it in awe and fear. It was even larger than the record said. Lights from the ship barely touched its surface. Dr. Rao zoomed in. Strange markings covered the structure, written in hundreds of languages, some known, some dead. The oldest symbols were human. This doesn't make sense, said the doctor. These are pre-spaceflight markings. Ancient Earth dialects lost before the 21st century. Selene's voice was quiet. It means humanity has been here before. The ship's AI echo suddenly interrupted. Admiral, I have found a pattern. The writing is not random, it tells a story. Show me, said Selene. The wall lit up with translations. The story spoke of builders, a race that rose from Earth before recorded history. They reached the stars long before modern humanity. But something happened. A war, a rebellion, a secret they could not destroy. They built the gates to lock it away. The builders were human, whispered Rao. Our ancestors. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. If that was true, it meant humans once ruled the stars and then erased all memory of it. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a movement. A small object was drifting near the gate. Selene ordered it brought aboard. It was a capsule, scorched and ancient. Inside was a small crystal cube. The surface glowed faintly with blue light. When activated, it projected a hologram of a man in an old Earth uniform. His voice was calm, but full of sorrow. If you are seeing this, the gates have failed. We were the builders. We rose, we conquered, and we fell. We locked away what we created, our own kind. We made ourselves gods and then monsters. We sealed the truth so that our children would never repeat our sins. The hologram flickered. But the gates were never strong enough to hold humanity forever. One day you would return. One day you would remember. Then the recording ended. The crew stood frozen. Selene whispered, "They locked something human inside these gates." Rao's eyes widened. "And if the builders sealed away other humans, what are they now?" The ship's AI beeped sharply. "Admiral, I detect energy within the gate. Movement detected. Multiple signatures, humanoid in form." Selene turned toward the viewport. "They're waking up." The gate began to glow, its massive rings spinning slowly for the first time in centuries. Lightning-like energy danced across its surface. A low hum filled space, deep and ancient. The crew watched in awe as the structure started to open, revealing a vast tunnel of light inside. "Admiral, something is transmitting," said Echo, "a repeating message. Same frequency as the builder's language. Translate," ordered Selene. The AI's voice trembled. "Welcome, descendants. The memory of mankind cannot be erased." The ship shuddered as a pulse of energy hit it. Every system flickered. The crew screamed as images flooded the screens. Cities in the stars, fleets of light, human soldiers with glowing armor, and then fire, worlds burning, screams, and the collapse of galaxies. Ralph fell to his knees. "This is history. Our lost history." Selene gripped the console. They called themselves gods, and then destroyed everything. Another message followed. "If you open the gate, the builders will return, but not as you remember." The light dimmed. The hum stopped. For a moment, everything was silent again. Then one final transmission came through, soft but clear. "The shadows of the builders never died. They wait for the key to awaken them. And you, humans of Earth, are the key." The ship's alarms blared as new readings appeared. Hundreds of lifeforms were emerging from the gate, tall, metallic, and human-shaped. Selene shouted, "Shields up! Prepare weapons!" But before they could act, the gate spoke again. This time, not through machines. It spoke inside their minds. "Do not fear. We remember you. You are our children." As the crew watched, one of the shining figures stepped forward through the light. Its face was human. Its eyes were like stars, and in that moment, every person aboard the Erebus understood one thing. Humanity did not find the builders. The builders had been waiting for humanity to return. The light from the gate was brighter than a star. The Erebus shook as energy waves rolled through space. Every system screamed warnings, but Admiral Selene Ward stood her ground, staring at the figures stepping out of the gate. They looked human, tall, silver-skinned, and wearing armor that glowed faintly like molten steel. Their eyes were bright, alive, but old. So old that time itself seemed to bend around them. The first one spoke, his voice calm and deep. "You have returned." Selene raised her weapon but did not fire. "Who are you?" The figure tilted his head slightly. "We are what remains of those who built the gates, the ones who sealed the stars. We are the guardians of the builders." Dr. Rao stepped forward, voice shaking. "You're human." "We were," the Guardian replied. "Before the war that ended everything." The crew fell silent. They could hear the hum of the gate behind the figures. It sounded like a heartbeat, louder, faster, as if the universe itself was waking. Selene lowered her weapon. "Why did your people lock these gates? What did you seal away?" The Guardian's face turned cold. "Ourselves." The answer hit everyone like a shockwave. "We reached too far. We touched things that changed us. We became something more than human, something that should never have existed. The gates were built to stop us from spreading, but the seal has weakened. Your return has awakened what we left behind." Selene's voice hardened. "Then tell me what's inside the gate." The Guardian looked past her, his glowing eyes fixed on the black void beyond. "Inside is our sin, the machine that remembers everything humanity was and everything it tried to become." The gate pulsed again. Beams of light shot into space, stretching across the stars. Each beam connected to a different point in the galaxy. Old colonies, ruins, even dead planets. The ship's AI, Echo, struggled to keep up. "Admiral, the gate is creating a network. It's activating other gates, thousands of them," Dr. Rao whispered. "They're waking all at once." The crew watched as space filled with faint glowing rings, each one far away but visible, like a chain of stars lighting up in perfect order. Selene clenched her fists. "What happens when they all open?" The Guardian's reply was quiet. Then humanity's past will return. The builders will rise again. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. Unknown signals, dozens of them, appeared on the radar. Alien fleets were approaching fast. "Admiral, multiple warships incoming," shouted the navigator. They must have seen the gate's activation. Selene ordered defense systems online. "Echo, identify them." "Confirmed," said the AI. "Coalition fleets. At least 5 alien species. They're broadcasting warnings. They want the gate destroyed." Dr. Rao turned pale. They knew about it. They were waiting for it to open. The Guardian raised a hand. "They fear what's behind the gate. Long ago, their ancestors fought beside ours. They saw what humans became. They remember. Outside, the alien fleets formed attack lines, ready to fire. Selene shouted, "Echo, open a channel!" Her voice echoed across the stars. "This is Admiral Selene Ward of Earth Fleet Erebus. We do not come to destroy, we come to understand." But the reply was cold. "You do not understand, human. That gate is death. You will bring back the ones who ended worlds. Leave now, or we end you." Before anyone could respond, the gate unleashed a burst of light. The energy wave hit the alien ships first. Their shields shattered. Their weapons shut down. Echo's voice rose sharply. "Admiral, the gate has overridden all nearby systems, including ours." Selene shouted, "Shut it down!" "Impossible. It's controlling us." The Guardians turned toward the gate. The lead one raised his hands as if trying to calm it. But the light only grew stronger. "It's too soon," he said. "It shouldn't have awakened yet." The gate roared, and suddenly it spoke. A single deep voice echoed across every frequency. "Protocol Omega. Humanity detected. Sequence restored." The ship's crew screamed as the light surrounded them. Their vision blurred. For a moment, every person saw flashes, endless armies of ancient humans, machines that walked like gods, galaxies burning in white fire. Then silence. When the light faded, everything changed. The alien fleets were gone, vanished without trace. The Erebus was floating inside the gate. Outside its windows, there was no space, no stars, only endless black filled with glowing fragments of broken worlds. Selene's voice was shaking. "Where are we?" Echo replied in a whisper. "Inside the gate." The Guardians stepped forward. Their armor cracked, releasing soft light. One of them turned to Selene. "Now you will see the truth. The builders did not just seal their power, they sealed their memories. They sealed your future," Selene asked. "Why show us this?" "Because the gates are dying. The seal is breaking. The builders' machines are waking, and soon the galaxy will remember what it tried to forget." Dr. Rao's eyes widened. "What happens when it remembers?" The Guardian looked at him sadly. "Then humanity will face itself again." In the distance, deep inside the gate, something stirred. A massive shape, like a sleeping titan, began to move. It was not a planet or a ship. It was a structure larger than both, shaped like a human figure curled in slumber. Its eyes opened. 2 blinding lights burned across the void. The hum returned, louder than before. Selene whispered, "What is that?" The Guardian answered softly, "That, Admiral Ward, is the first builder, the one who locked the stars. And now he's awake." The silence inside the gate felt heavier than space itself. The Erebus drifted in the endless dark, surrounded by floating fragments of metal and stone that glowed faintly like dying stars. The crew stared at the giant figure that had awakened, a colossal humanoid shape made of light and shadow. Admiral Selene Ward could not look away. Its eyes burned across the void like suns, watching the ship as if recognizing something. "Echo," she whispered. "Is it alive?" The AI's voice trembled for the first time. "I do not know, but it is aware." Dr. Rao's hands shook as he read the data. "It's generating energy equal to a dying star. It shouldn't exist." The Guardian beside them, the tall, armored being who had called himself Kale, bowed his head. "He is the first builder, the one who locked the gates and sealed the stars. We were made to watch over him." Selene turned to him. "You were his protectors." Kale nodded slowly. "Yes, we are his last echo, created from his own flesh and memory. We slept for centuries to ensure no one would ever wake him." Selene's eyes narrowed. Then why now? Why us? Kale's expression darkened. Because you are the key. The first builder created the gates using human code. Your DNA, your history, your bloodline. The moment your kind reached the stars again, the seal began to weaken. The air grew colder. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. You carry the same pattern as the builders, Kale continued. That is why the gates recognize you. That is why they open. A deep voice rolled through the darkness. The crew froze as the sound vibrated through the metal floors. Descendants, the voice came from the colossal figure. Each word echoed like thunder. You return as I knew you would. Selene swallowed hard. Who are you? I am the memory of the first builder, the last thought of a forgotten age. When we reached the stars, we made gods of ourselves and paid the price. Images filled the air, glowing cities, human fleets stretching across galaxies. Then chaos, explosions, fire, and shadows of humans fighting humans. We built weapons that could erase time. We became something no universe should allow. So I locked us away, sealed our creations behind the gates, and erased our name from history. You are what remains, our children, free of our sins. Selene's voice was calm, but trembling. Then why are we here? Why call to us? Because the gates are dying, the voice said. The seal weakens. The old power stirs. Soon others will come, aliens, conquerors, scavengers. They will seek what we buried. Only you can decide if it awakens again or is destroyed forever. The light dimmed and the figure's voice faded. Kyle stepped forward, his armor cracked and glowing. He has given you a choice. Destroy the gates or accept the legacy of the builders. Dr. Rao looked at Selene. We can't destroy what we don't understand. Selene's jaw tightened. And we can't control what we can't stop. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared. Echo's voice filled the room. Admiral, massive energy signatures detected. Alien fleets are entering the gate from all directions. Kale turned sharply. The builders' enemies have returned. They remember the fear of humanity's power. They come to finish what they began. Selene's voice rose. Battle stations. Outside the ship, dozens of alien warships appeared through the cracks of the gate. Their weapons glowed with strange colors, each one aimed at the Erebus. A message came through, loud and full of hate. This is the Shah Dominion. Leave the gate or be erased. The builders destroyed worlds, and we will not let their children rise again. Selene glared at the screen. We are not the builders. You carry their blood. That is enough. Without warning, the alien fleets fired. Beams of energy tore through the dark, shaking the Erebus. Kyle raised his arm, and his armor flared with blue light. The beams bent and shattered before hitting the ship. As long as we stand, he said, no harm will reach you. The other Guardians awakened one by one, their eyes burning bright. They moved through space like living stars, shielding the Erebus with glowing barriers. Each one fought the alien ships with blinding precision, no weapons, just light and will. Dr. Rao watched in awe. They're fighting to protect us. Selene clenched her fists. They're dying for us. Kyle turned to her, his light flickering. We were created for this, to guard humanity's return. But soon our strength will fade. The gate's power drains us. The Erebus shook again. One of the alien battleships rammed through the defense line. The Guardians held it back, but they were weakening. Selene looked at Echo. Can we use the gate's power? The system is locked, but it responds to human DNA. Selene's eyes went wide. Then it needs us. She ran to the control core, placing her hand on the glowing surface. The metal lit up instantly, reacting to her touch. Kale's voice echoed behind her. You are chosen, Admiral Ward. The first builder left this power for those who still remember mercy. The gate's core flared with light, spreading energy through the Guardians. They rose again, their armor blazing brighter than ever. Humanity stands, Kyle said. And so do we. The Guardians moved as one, unleashing waves of energy that tore through the alien fleets. Ships exploded, light filled the void, and the hum of the gate became a roar of power. When it ended, the aliens were gone, scattered into dust. The Erebus floated in silence. The Guardians stood still, fading like smoke. Kyle turned to Selene one last time. Our duty is done. The choice is now yours. Before he vanished, he pressed a hand to his chest. "Remember, Admiral, the builders were not gods. They were only human." And then he was gone, leaving only light behind. Selene stood alone on the deck, surrounded by the faint glow of the gate. The massive figure of the first builder faded back into darkness. Echo's voice broke the silence. "Admiral, the gate is stable again, but it's waiting." Selene looked out into the void.
Waiting for what?
"For your decision." She watched the stars and whispered, "Maybe humanity doesn't need gods or gates anymore. Maybe we just need to remember who we are." The gate pulsed once, as if listening, and somewhere deep inside, the ancient machines began to move again, quiet, patient, and waiting for humanity's final choice. The gate was quiet again, but the silence didn't feel safe anymore. It felt like the calm before something even worse. The Erebus floated near its glowing surface, surrounded by debris of the destroyed alien fleet. Every system on board was damaged. Lights flickered. Alarms whispered like ghosts in the dark. Admiral Selene Ward stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic display that showed the gate's heart still pulsing with soft blue light. Dr. Rao broke the silence. "The Guardians are gone. The first builder is silent. But the gate, it's not shutting down. It's waiting." Echo's voice filled the room, calm but deeper than before. "Admiral, I've detected signals across the network. The gate system is reactivating. Hundreds of other gates across the galaxy are responding." Selene turned sharply. "Responding to what?" "To you," Echo said. "Your DNA signature has triggered the return protocol." Rao's eyes widened. "The return protocol? What is that?" Echo paused. "A command built into the gate network. It can bring back whatever was sealed away." The bridge went silent. Only the hum of the dying engines filled the air. Selene whispered, "You mean the builders?" "Not just them," Echo replied. "Everything they created. Their weapons, their worlds, their wars." Outside, the stars began to flicker unnaturally. Rings of light formed in the void, hundreds of miniature gates opening like eyes. From each one, strange shapes started to emerge. Not ships, not living beings. Machines of impossible design, ancient and powerful, built by the builders long before the fall. Rao stared in horror. "They're coming back. The entire civilization." Selene clenched her fists. "We have to stop it." "Admiral," Echo warned, "you can't. The protocol is locked into the network. It's spreading faster than light. In 10 minutes, the entire gate system will reopen." The ship shook violently. The stars outside twisted and bent, forming patterns like circuits in the sky. It felt like the universe itself was turning on again after a long sleep. Selene turned to her crew. "Get to your stations. We are not running." "Not this time." The crew hesitated. Lieutenant Vega spoke softly. "Admiral, if these things come through, we won't survive." Selene's eyes burned with determination. "Then we make sure the rest of humanity does." In the control room, Selene opened the builder console, an interface of pure light and thought. It recognized her instantly. Authorization accepted. Human command restored. Echo's tone changed. "Admiral, you have full access, but you must decide quickly. The network is beyond control." Selene looked at the glowing options on the console. Activate return protocol. Purge gate network.1 would bring back the builders and their power. The other would erase everything they ever made. Rao whispered, "If you purge it, we lose the gates forever. No more instant travel, no more power, no more connection." Selene didn't answer. She stared at the glowing words. The weight of the entire human future rested on her decision. Then Echo spoke again, but this time its voice sounded human. "Admiral, I have found something in the Builder's memory archive." A final message. The screen changed. A man's image appeared, tall, calm, and sad. "To those who find this," the man said, "we were gods once, but power without mercy destroys everything. If you stand where I once stood, remember, what you awaken will not obey you." His image faded, leaving only silence. Selene exhaled slowly. "That's our answer." She raised her hand over the control surface. "Echo, prepare to purge the gate network." "Confirmed." But once initiated, there's no going back. Do it. The entire ship shook violently as the gate reacted. Massive energy surges tore across its rings. Outside, the other gates began to close one by one. The ancient machines screamed in light and flame as they were dragged back into nothingness. Rao held onto the railing. "The power's off the scale! The ship won't hold." Echo's voice strained. "Admiral, the core is collapsing. You must evacuate." Selene stayed at her post. "Not until it's done." The control deck filled with blinding light. The Erebus trembled as the main reactor overloaded. For a moment, the entire galaxy seemed to flash white, and then silence. When the light faded, the stars returned. The massive gate was gone. Not destroyed, but vanished, erased from space itself. The Erebus drifted in the void, alone. Echo's voice was soft. "The network has been purged. The gates are no more." Rao looked at Selene. "We just ended an entire age of the universe." Selene nodded quietly. "Then maybe it's time for humanity to start a new one." Hours later, as the crew repaired what they could, Echo spoke again. "Admiral, something remains. A signal. It's not Builder. It's human. Coming from the Sol system." Selene's eyes widened. "Earth?" "Yes, it says, 'Welcome home.'" The crew went silent. For the first time, Selene smiled faintly. "Set course for home," she said. "Let's tell Earth what we've seen." As the Erebus turned toward the distant glow of the sun, something faint shimmered in the background, like a heartbeat in space. The echo of the gates, still faintly alive, still waiting. The Erebus glided through silent space, its engines weak but steady. For the first time in centuries, the gate network was gone. The stars looked empty. No pulsing rings, no alien warships, no ancient light. Only the cold, endless black between the stars. Admiral Selene Ward stood on the bridge, watching the small blue dot ahead. Earth, it was so small, yet it felt heavier than any world she had ever seen. Dr. Rao broke the silence. "It's strange, Admiral. We closed the gates, and yet I feel like something is still watching." Selene nodded slowly. "You're not wrong. The builders may be gone, but echoes don't die that easily." Echo's calm voice filled the air. "Admiral, residual energy patterns detected. The gate's signature still exists, faint but active, deep inside the solar system." Selene's eyes narrowed. "Where?" "Near the moon, buried under its surface." Hours later, the Erebus entered lunar orbit. The cratered landscape looked peaceful, untouched for centuries. But Echo's sensors showed something hidden beneath, the same kind of energy field once used by the gates. Dr. Rao stared at the readings. "This is impossible. The builders never came this close to Earth. How could their technology be here?" Selene replied quietly, "Maybe they never left." The ship descended toward the moon's surface. Dust rose around it as the landing struts touched down. Selene and her team stepped out, their suits gleaming under the pale sunlight. A moment later, the ground trembled. The dust parted, revealing something massive buried beneath, a circular door made of black metal, covered in symbols older than history. Rao's voice trembled. "Another gate!" Echo confirmed. "Negative. This is something older. Its power is dormant but aware." Selene approached it. As she touched the surface, her suit sensors went wild. The symbols lit up like fire. The ground cracked open. A deep rumbling echoed through the moon. Suddenly a beam of light shot into the sky, connecting to Earth's upper atmosphere. Across the planet, satellites, power grids, and networks flickered alive. A voice came through every signal, soft, human, but ancient. "Humanity returns." On Earth, people looked to the sky as the moon's light pulsed brighter than the sun for a few seconds. Governments panicked. Scientists screamed in disbelief. But above it all, a calm voice repeated the same message again and again. "We left you a choice. You made it. Now face what remains." Back on the moon, Selene and her team shielded their eyes as the beam faded. The great door cracked open, revealing a dark chamber below. Inside, machines older than civilization hummed softly. At the center stood a crystal structure shaped like a heart, pulsing with light. Echo's voice lowered to a whisper. "Admiral, this is the core of humanity's memory. The builders stored something here. Not weapons, knowledge. Selene stared at the crystal. Knowledge of what? Of who you were, before the fall, before the arrogance, before the war. Rao touched one of the glowing panels. Instantly images filled the room. Humans walking among the stars, not as conquerors, but as explorers. They built, they helped, they saved worlds. Selene watched in awe. We weren't monsters. We were protectors. Yes, Echo said softly. Until fear changed us. Until we forgot, the light dimmed again, leaving only the crystal's soft pulse. Then a holographic figure appeared, the same man who had spoken in the gate before. The first builder. To the one who ends what I began, he said gently. You have done what we could not. You stopped us from returning. You saved what we tried to destroy. Selene stepped closer. Why hide this on our own moon? Because humanity needed to forget to survive. The stars feared you. The others would have hunted you forever. So we erased your history and left you sleeping on your own cradle world. His image looked at her, kind, proud, and fading. But now you are ready again. You remembered mercy. You remembered choice. That is what makes you human. The hologram flickered and vanished. Dr. Rao whispered, It's over, isn't it? Selene looked at the glowing heart of the builders and smiled faintly. No, it's beginning again. She placed her hand on the crystal. It responded, sending waves of light across the chamber. The ground shook gently as a new energy spread through the moon. Echo spoke softly. Admiral, Earth's systems are stabilizing. The energy from the core is repairing planetary infrastructure. It's giving life, not destruction. Selene closed her eyes. Then let it flow. Humanity will not build empires again. We'll build hope. As the Erebus lifted off from the moon, the crystal heart kept glowing. From space, it looked like a second blue star beside Earth. Selene stood on the bridge, watching the sight. Rao turned to her.
What now?
She smiled faintly. Now we teach the stars that humanity doesn't need gates to be great. Echo added quietly, The universe will feel your return, Admiral. The last echo of the builders has become the first light of the new age. The crew watched as Earth grew brighter below them, oceans shining, cities waking, and signals of life returning everywhere. Selene whispered, We locked the gate centuries ago, but we never needed keys.